Hello, today's video diary for Project Cirrus comes to you from Davis, California, our drop zone. Next to me, we've got the man in front of the camera, Fraser Corson, and we've got the man behind the camera, Jarno, who takes care of his aerial photography. So, Fraser, if you talk to us about the location firstly, why Davis?
So in Davis for a pretty special reason. First of all, high altitude wingsuiting doesn't happen everywhere, and high altitude skydiving doesn't happen everywhere. These guys do it though, and have done it for about the last 20 years. So they've got the equipment in terms of the aircraft that we're sitting in now will get us to 37,000 feet. They understand all the restrictions they've got to go through. They understand actually how they get the clearances for it, which they have from all of the appropriate aviation bodies. And on top of that, you may or may not notice, but it's incredibly flat around here. So the sea level is about 70 feet. It's about 70 feet above sea level here, so we don't have a lot of elevation, which means it's great for us in terms of jumping because we get maximum altitude, but also in terms of safety of landing out, it's ideal for us. So that's why we're in Davis.
We were doing equipment checks earlier, and you've both got some pretty special equipment. Fraser, if we talk about the equipment you're using that's going to help you set these world records.
So the kit kind of falls into kind of three key areas. The first key area I'd say would be the wingsuit itself, because clearly without the most high performance wingsuit in the world, it wouldn't be possible to go for these kind of records. So we've got the Phoenix Fly Vampire Alpine, which is the cutting edge at the moment in terms of performance wingsuits. That's the first key bit. The second bit obviously is my parachute and container system, and we have a system developed by Sunpath, which is called the Aurora, which is a aerodynamically shaped container system, which means that in terms of flight it's going to give us additional performance. And inside that I have a wingsuit Cypress, which is a automatic activation device, so if I did nothing it deploys my reserve parachute for me, specifically designed to both go to high altitude and understand I'm flying a wingsuit. And then the most key vital bit of kit is obviously my oxygen systems. And the oxygen systems we've got are from Cobham Mission Systems, and they are the cutting edge in terms of high altitude specialist oxygen kit. So we've been going through all of that today, and the other side, of course, which wraps around all of that kit, is absolutely the team. So we have the world experts here in terms of Cobham have got their team coming down to support us with the oxygen kit, and we have Tad Smith, who is the lead. We also have high altitude pilots, because it's quite a skill to fly the aircraft at altitude. And ultimately, if we're going to capture all of that and be able to show all that, we have the man behind the lens.
Talk to us about your equipment, because you're a base jumper, parachute jumper, wingsuit jumper in your own right, but then you also have a camera to show us the footage of Fraser. That's got to be quite challenging.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's a certain level of experience you need to be able to actually handle all the gear and the flying itself to the point where you no longer really have to think about it, because you're actually combining the job of a cameraman with the actual like normal free fall controls that you need to do during skydiving. So yeah, all the safety aspects and that actual control needs to be at a level where you don't have to think about it anymore. You know, it would be a shame if you're so busy with the camera that you actually forget all the essential stuff and, you know, not deploy your parachute correctly or do things wrong. So it's both safety-wise and skill-wise, there's a big degree of skill that comes into that, and you only get that with a lot of experience.
Brilliant. Let's talk about the weather. It's played a key role for us here today. We've established it can be too hot for what you're looking to achieve.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of things we can control. We can control kit, we can control the time when we fly, we control what we're doing here, but we can't control the weather. So the weather today is about 80 degrees. The forecast for the altitude jump, which is on the Monday we're looking at, is 98 degrees. If that holds, it's going to have an effect, because obviously that hot air rising basically reduces the density of the air, and it makes it a lot harder for the aircraft to climb to altitude. So we're trying to get to 37,000 feet on Monday when we go for that jump for altitude, and it's going to be really tough. So we're going to look at what happens in terms of the weather over the next few days and keep a track on that, because that will be a big challenge. Looking a little further ahead, when we move from here up to Canada and we go for the high altitude balloon jump, the forecast there is a little hit and miss. Some days are sunny, some days are rainy. So the high altitude balloon needs perfect conditions to be able to launch and safely actually climb to altitude and then obviously descend and land. So we need to look at wind conditions there, and obviously clear vis. We can't have any cloud around. It needs to be perfect conditions. So we will just keep watching the weather and see how it plays out. There's no point worrying about it. We can't do anything about it. So we'll take it as it comes, and we'll change and adapt as we need to.
Lastly, we'll wrap things up in a second, but we've had some questions. The followers on social, the hashtag Project Cirrus, they want to know how you both got into wingsuit jumping. I mean, what triggered it for both of you?
So the very first time I went to skydive, I always wanted to fly. It's the kind of dream that you have as a child of being able to go and fly, and the ability also to glide wherever you want to. So having done about 700 skydives, the first wingsuits came out, and they just captured my imagination straight away. It's the ability to be like a bird. Who wouldn't want to do that? And so I took it up in 2001 and haven't looked back since.
Jarno?
Yeah, I started skydiving in 1999 and already had a lot of fun just doing normal skydiving. And then around 2002, 2003, I first saw wingsuits actually on television in one of those Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of things. And to me, it struck me as like a James Bond style stunt that you could just do yourself. And yeah, same as Fraser. It just captured my imagination, you know, flying and actually prolonging the freefall experience. And from there on, it just initially a hobby, and later on actually spiraled completely out of control as a hobby got out of hand, turned into a job. So yeah, now I'm just traveling around the world doing wingsuit flying as an actual professional thing, which is
Pretty cool.
nothing but joy.
Very cool indeed. Perfect place to end it. Gentlemen, thanks for your time. If you've got any questions for Fraser or any of the team, go onto the hashtag Project Cirrus, drop us a comment, and we'll put the questions to the team over the coming days. We're going to be in California through to Monday, when we're hoping to broadcast and live Fraser's record-breaking jumps. But for now, take care.